The forest was quiet. Too quiet. The wind whispered through the tall, alien trees, carrying the scent of damp earth and something darker, something dangerous. The predator cubs huddled together in the underbrush, their small bodies trembling. Their mother was gone, vanished in an instant, taken by a massive predator that now roamed this part of the forest, leaving only silence and fear behind. The cubs, 3 in number, looked at each other with wide, frightened eyes. They had never been alone before. Their mother had taught them how to hunt, how to hide, how to survive. But now, without her, they were helpless. They whimpered softly, their small claws scraping against the cold ground. One of the cubs, the smallest, whimpered louder than the rest, its voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. High above in the canopy, the shadow of a larger predator passed silently. It was waiting, watching. The cubs did not know it yet, but danger lurked close, ready to strike. Their mother's death was only the beginning of their trial. Meanwhile, not far from the trembling cubs, a human moved cautiously through the forest. Anna had been exploring this planet for months, studying its wildlife. Her eyes, sharp and observant, caught every movement. She had seen the destruction caused by this forest predators before, but nothing had prepared her for this sight. She froze. There they were, 3 small cubs, their eyes wide with terror, ears pressed back, huddled together. And the signs were clear. Their mother was gone. The ground was torn, claw marks etched into the dirt, and the smell of a larger predator lingered in the air. Anna's heart tightened. She had always been careful, keeping her distance from alien predators. But now, looking at the helpless cubs, something inside her shifted. She could not just walk away. These creatures needed her. But it would not be easy. The forest was alive with danger. Every rustle could mean an attack. Every shadow could hide a predator. She knew she had to be careful. One wrong step, one careless sound, and she could lose them too. The cubs huddled closer as a branch snapped somewhere nearby. Their tiny bodies quivered. Anna held her breath. Slowly, she stepped closer, moving with the forest, careful not to make a sound. She crouched down behind a fallen log and watched. One of the cubs, braver than the rest, took a small step forward. Its eyes were cautious but curious. Anna reached out slowly, her hand open, palm visible, showing she meant no harm. The cub froze, sniffing the air. Then, with a small, hesitant step, it moved closer. The other cubs followed, still unsure, but the smallest one stayed back, whimpering softly. Anna whispered, "It's okay. I won't hurt you." Her voice was calm, gentle, like the warmth of the sun on a cold morning. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the trees. The cubs froze. Their ears twitched. Anna's eyes widened. The predator was close. Too close. She could see the shadows moving, hear the soft patting of claws on the forest floor. Her mind raced. She had no weapons, no traps, only her wits and her courage. The growl grew louder, closer. Anna had to act. She scooped up the smallest cub, holding it close, protecting it from the danger she could barely see. The other 2 cubs hesitated, but instinctively followed her lead, staying close behind her. The predator emerged briefly from the trees. Massive, its eyes glowing in the dim light, teeth bared. It let out a deafening roar that shook the forest. Anna's heart pounded. The cubs screamed, tiny voices lost in the chaos. But she did not falter. She held them tightly and backed slowly toward a narrow path she had noticed earlier, leading to a small clearing where they could hide. The predator prowled closer, sniffing, searching. Anna's mind raced. She had to think fast. One wrong move, and the cubs would be lost. Slowly, carefully, she led them along the path, using every shadow, every fallen branch for cover. The predator followed, patient, silent, deadly. Finally, she reached the clearing. The cubs scrambled to hide behind rocks and roots. Anna stood in front of them, her body tense, ready to defend them with everything she had. The predator stopped at the edge of the clearing, growling, circling, deciding its next move. For a long moment, the forest was silent except for the cub's soft whimpers and Anna's steady breathing. The predator watched, calculating, and then slowly, it retreated into the darkness. Not gone, just waiting. Anna exhaled, relief washing over her. But she knew this was only the beginning. The cubs were alive, for now. They were safe, for the moment. But the forest was dangerous. And the predator was still out there. As she looked at the trembling creature she had just saved, a thought crossed her mind. These cubs had lost everything. But maybe she could give them something new. Protection, safety, perhaps even a family. And in that moment, Anna made a choice. She would not leave them. She would protect them. Like their mother had, like no one else could. The forest was still dark and full of danger. But for the first time, the cubs had someone to trust, someone to guide them, and their journey together was about to begin. The forest remained quiet, but the danger had not disappeared. Anna stood in the clearing, the 3 cubs trembling behind her, their tiny bodies pressed against the earth, eyes wide with fear. The predator was still near, lurking in the shadows, watching, waiting. Anna knew she could not stay in the clearing forever. The cubs were too small to survive alone, too vulnerable. She needed to decide, fast. Her heart ached as she looked at them. They were just children, small, scared, and helpless. But she could see sparks of life in their eyes, small flames of curiosity and trust beginning to form. She crouched down, keeping her voice soft. "I'm not going to leave you," she whispered. "I promise. But we have to move. We need somewhere safe." The cubs hesitated. The largest one took a small step forward, sniffing the air, watching her every move. The middle cub mirrored the first. But the smallest cub, still unsure, whimpered and backed away, its tiny body shaking. Anna reached out a hand slowly, palm open. "Come on," she said gently. "It's okay. You're safe with me." She knew trust would not come easily. These creatures had lost their mother. They had never known a human before. Every step she took toward them could be seen as a threat. She needed patience, careful movements, and courage. Suddenly, a rustle came from the nearby bushes. Anna froze. The cubs tensed. The predator? No, just a small alien rodent, darting past the trees. The moment passed, but the tension stayed, heavy in the air. Anna breathed slowly, forcing calm into her own body and theirs. "Okay," she whispered to herself. "We can do this." Slowly, she guided the cubs along the forest floor. Step by step, she moved them away from the clearing, toward a narrow path she had noticed earlier. The cubs hesitated at first, unsure of each movement, but they followed her, trusting the warmth in her voice and the safety of her presence. As they moved, Anna studied each cub closely. She began giving them names in her mind. The largest she called Bran, brave but cautious. The middle cub she named Lyra, clever and quick. And the smallest, still frightened, she called Milo, tiny but with a spark of curiosity she knew would grow. Naming them helped Anna feel connected, gave her courage to protect them. And perhaps, she hoped, it would help the cubs feel safe too. The forest around them was alive with danger. Every snap of a branch, every rustle of leaves made the cubs whimper. Anna knew they could not survive long in this wild alone. She would have to teach them to hide, to move quietly, to watch and listen. But first, she needed a safe place, a shelter where they could breathe and rest. They reached a small hollow near the roots of a giant tree. Anna looked around carefully. It was hidden from view, almost invisible from above, and the cubs could crawl inside. She showed them the space, and after a moment's hesitation, they squeezed in one by one. Milo, the smallest, was last, and Anna held her hand over him as he crawled in. For a moment, the forest seemed to hold its breath. The cubs were safe for now, but Anna knew this peace would not last long. She could feel the presence of the predator, somewhere near, still hungry, still waiting. She had seen the marks of its claws, smelled the scent of its fur. It was clever, patient, and it had lost nothing in its hunt. Anna hugged the cubs gently. "We'll be okay," she said, though she was not completely sure herself. "We just need to be smart and careful." She studied their faces, trying to read their emotions. Bran seemed alert, ready to fight if needed. Lyra looked curious, watching her with wide eyes. And Milo was still scared, but something in him flickered. Trust. The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor. Darkness was coming, and with it, the predator would be bolder. Anna knew she had to act fast. She collected sticks and leaves, creating a small, hidden bedding for the cubs. She whispered instructions, showing them how to stay quiet, how to listen, how to hide. Bran and Lyra followed quickly, their trust growing. Milo needed more coaxing, but Anna's gentle patience worked. Slowly, he began to obey. Then, from the trees, came a low, deep growl. Anna's heart stopped. The cubs froze, pressed against her. She could see the predator's eyes in the distance, glowing faintly in the twilight. It had not left. It was watching, waiting, testing. Anna's mind raced. She could not fight alone, not if it attacked fully. But she could prepare. She could use the forest to her advantage. Teach the cubs to survive, to hide, to escape. And she could protect them. She had promised, and she would keep that promise. The growl faded into the distance, but the tension remained. Anna looked at the cubs, their small faces filled with fear and hope. She whispered softly, "We'll make it through this together." In that moment, a bond began to form between human and cubs, between protector and the helpless. It was fragile, new, but strong enough to hold them together in the dangerous days ahead. And somewhere in the shadows, the predator watched, waiting for the next move, the next mistake. The forest was full of dangers, but Anna had made her decision. She would protect them, no matter what. The journey was only beginning. The forest was alive with the soft sounds of night. Leaves rustled, small creatures scurried, and distant howls echoed through the trees. Anna sat quietly in the hollow, watching the cubs as they explored their temporary shelter. The tension from earlier had not completely left them, but slowly, curiosity began to shine through their fear. Bran, the largest cub, was the first to move. He sniffed at the ground, then at Anna, his small body tense but cautious. Lyra followed, her bright eyes darting around as if taking in every detail. Milo, the smallest and most timid, stayed close to Anna, peeking out occasionally but retreating at the slightest sound. Anna smiled softly. "It's okay," she whispered. "You're safe here. No one can hurt you." Her voice was calm, steady, like a gentle wave. Slowly, the cubs began to relax, sensing that she truly meant it. She reached out a hand, letting them sniff and touch it. Bran pressed his nose to her palm, then licked it once, a sign of trust. Lyra followed cautiously. Milo hesitated, but, seeing his sibling safe, finally stepped forward and nuzzled Anna's hand. A small warmth spread in Anna's chest. This was the beginning of a bond. Night fell completely, and the forest grew darker. Anna used this quiet moment to gather more supplies. She found soft leaves and moss, arranging a small bedding for the cubs. She also collected sticks and stones, making small markers around the hollow, a simple warning system in case the predator returned. The cubs watched her work silently. Anna spoke to them softly, telling stories about the stars above and the world she had explored. Bran and Lyra listened, their ears flicking at her every word. Milo, though shy, leaned closer, hanging on to her voice. For hours, Anna observed the cubs, learning their personalities. Bran was brave, always first to explore, yet cautious enough to avoid real danger. Lyra was clever and quick, darting from place to place, always curious, always alert. Milo was shy but thoughtful, careful in every movement, but with a spark of courage waiting to grow. Anna knew that to survive in this forest, they would need more than safety. They would need skills. She began teaching them small things, how to move silently, how to sniff out danger, how to hide among the roots and rocks. Bran learned quickly, imitating her every move. Lyra followed closely, her quick mind understanding the patterns. Milo needed patience, but with gentle guidance, he started to mimic the others. Hours passed, and the bond deepened. The cubs no longer flinched at her presence. Instead, they sought her guidance. Anna began to feel protective, like a mother watching her children. Every growl, every rustle made her heart race, but she remained calm, showing the cubs that courage could come with patience and careful thinking. Then, in the quiet night, a sudden movement caught their attention. Shadows shifted near the entrance to the hollow. Anna's body tensed, and the cubs froze. The predator had returned. Its glowing eyes pierced the darkness, and a low growl rumbled through the air. Anna quickly motioned for the cubs to stay hidden behind her. "Quiet," she whispered. "Stay still." The cubs obeyed, pressing close to her legs, their small bodies trembling but silent. The predator circled the hollow, sniffing the ground, searching for signs of the cubs. Anna's heart pounded. She had no weapon, only her wits. Slowly, carefully, she whispered to the cubs, "Stay calm. Watch me." The predator paused, sensing movement. Anna held her breath. Bran and Lyra pressed their ears back, but did not make a sound. Milo's tiny heart beat, so fast Anna could feel it through her legs. The predator's gaze swept past them, almost missing the cubs entirely. Then, after what felt like an eternity, it disappeared into the shadows. Anna exhaled slowly, relief washing over her. The cubs were safe again, at least for now. She hugged them close, murmuring, "See? We're stronger together." The bond between human and cubs grew stronger that night. They began to trust her completely, and Anna realized that this was no longer just about survival, it was about family. The forest was dangerous, and challenges awaited them, but for the first time, they faced the night not as strangers, not as hunter and prey, but together. As dawn broke, light filtering through the alien trees, the cubs stretched and yawned. They looked at Anna with bright, trusting eyes. Anna smiled, her heart full. She knew the journey ahead would not be easy, but they would face it together. The predator had not given up. The forest was still full of dangers. But now, Anna and the cubs had something stronger than fear, a bond unbreakable, built on trust, care, and the hope of surviving together. The adventure of survival, teaching, and protection had only just begun. And in that forest, under alien skies, a human and 3 predator cubs had begun to become a family. The forest was alive with danger. Shadows moved between the trees, and every rustle of leaves carried a warning. Anna knew the predator had not given up. It was clever, patient, and determined. And now, the cubs were growing bolder, but also more exposed. Anna woke early, the sun barely rising above the alien canopy. The cubs were already awake, stretching and sniffing the air. Bran, the largest, stepped close to Anna, as if asking silently, "What will we do today?" Lyra darted around, explored the area near the hollow, her curiosity sharp. Milo stayed behind Anna, nervous but alert, watching every movement. "We need to prepare," Anna whispered. "The predator will try again. We have to be ready." She spent the morning teaching the cubs how to move quietly. Bran and Lyra picked up quickly, learning to step softly on leaves and moss, their small claws barely making a sound. Milo struggled, but Anna stayed patient, guiding him gently with words and hands. By mid-morning, Anna set up small traps around the hollow. She used sticks, rocks, and vines to create warning systems, anything to alert them if the predator returned. "If we hear something," she told the cubs, "run to the hollow and stay hidden. Stay together." The cubs nodded in their own way. Bran pressed close to Anna, Lyra circled the area, and Milo stayed near her side. The bond between them had grown stronger since the night before. They trusted her, and she trusted them to follow her instructions. Then, from deep in the trees, came a low, menacing growl. The cubs froze. Anna's heart raced. The predator had returned. She could see it now, just beyond the clearing, its massive body blending with the shadows. Its eyes glowed faintly, scanning for any sign of movement. "Quiet," Anna whispered. "Stay calm. Watch me." The predator moved closer, slow and deliberate. Anna crouched low, positioning the cubs behind rocks and roots. She whispered, "Bran, left. Lyra, right. Milo, stay with me." The cubs obeyed immediately, their training paying off. The predator circled the hollow, sniffing, searching, trying to detect the cub scent. Anna's mind raced. She had no weapons, only her wits and the cubs' growing skills. She had to be smart. One wrong move, and they could all be lost. Bran hissed softly, showing the predator he was not afraid. Lyra crouched low, ready to pounce if needed. Milo trembled but followed Anna's lead. The predator snarled, testing their courage. Then, with a sudden leap, it lunged forward. Anna shouted, "Run!" The cubs dashed into the hollow as Anna blocked the predator's path with a large fallen branch. It snapped under the predator's weight, but it gave the cubs enough time to escape. Anna ducked, rolled, and pushed rocks toward the predator, buying a few precious seconds. The predator hesitated, snarling, frustrated. It circled again, searching for another way. Anna whispered urgently to the cubs, "Stay hidden, don't make a sound." Bran and Lyra pressed close to the walls of the hollow, Milo curling against Anna's side. Minutes passed like hours. The predator prowled the area, eyes sharp, claws scraping the ground. It let out a long, low growl, warning Anna that it would return. Finally, with a last frustrated hiss, it disappeared into the forest, leaving only silence behind. Anna exhaled, relief washing over her. She hugged the cubs tightly. "We did it," she whispered. "We survived. Together." The morning sun climbed higher, casting light across the alien forest. Anna knew they could not stay in one place for long. The predator was clever. It would return again and again. They needed a safer location, some where the cubs could grow stronger, where they could learn to defend themselves and escape danger. Over the next hours, Anna guided the cubs through the forest. She taught them to read the signs of danger, the snapping of twigs, the smell of another predator, the shifting shadows in the trees. Bran and Lyra learned quickly, moving with precision and alertness. Milo, though still hesitant, followed closely, gaining confidence with every step. By late afternoon, they found a small, hidden valley surrounded by rocks and dense trees. It was safer than the hollow, with natural barriers to block the predator's path. Anna set up a temporary shelter, teaching the cubs how to climb, hide, and stay silent. She watched them closely, proud of how much they had learned in just one day. As night fell, Anna sat with the cubs, her arms around them. The forest was quiet, but she knew it was only temporary. The predator would return. The hunt was far from over. But tonight, they had survived together. Tonight, the bond between human and cubs had grown stronger. And in the shadows, the predator watched, patient and relentless, waiting for the next move. Anna whispered softly, "We will be ready. We will survive." The hunt had begun, but so had their fight, and their journey was only getting started. The morning sun filtered through the thick forest, casting dappled light on the ground. Anna stood at the edge of the hidden valley, looking down at the three cubs. Bran, Lyra, and Milo were awake, stretching and yawning, their small bodies now stronger and more confident after the recent lessons. But Anna knew the valley, as safe as it seemed, could not protect them forever. "We have to move," she said softly. "The predator will come back, and we can't stay here." The cubs looked at her, unsure. Moving meant danger, but Anna's calm voice and steady presence reassured them. Bran stepped forward first, sniffing the path ahead. Lyra followed closely, her bright eyes scanning every shadow. Milo hesitated, glancing at Anna, then finally took her hand with a soft nuzzle. The journey began slowly. Anna led them through the forest, careful to stay quiet. Every step was deliberate. The cubs learned to watch and listen, moving silently through the thick underbrush. Anna kept her eyes sharp, alert for any signs of the predator or other dangers. The forest was alive with threats. Strange, alien insects buzzed in the trees. Thorn vines twisted across the path, ready to snag the unwary. And everywhere, Anna could sense the predator, patient and calculating, moving silently through the shadows. They reached a small stream. Water was essential, but crossing it was risky. Bran sniffed the water, then leapt lightly to the other side. Lyra followed, her movements quick and precise. Milo froze, trembling at the rushing water. Anna knelt beside him. "It's okay," she whispered. "I'll help you." Carefully, she guided Milo step by step until he crossed safely. Once across, they continued through a dense section of the forest. The canopy blocked most of the sunlight, and the air was damp and heavy. Anna taught the cubs to move quietly, using the trees and rocks as cover. Bran and Lyra learned quickly, pressing low to the ground and staying close to Anna. Milo still struggled, but each small success made him braver. Suddenly, a rustle came from the shadows. Anna froze, her hand on Bran's shoulder. A low growl echoed through the forest, and the predator revealed itself, leaping from behind a large tree. Its glowing eyes locked onto the cubs. Anna reacted instantly. "Hide!" she shouted. Bran and Lyra darted to cover, slipping into the thick roots of an enormous tree. Milo hesitated, but Anna scooped him up, holding him close as she prepared to face the predator. The predator circled them, snarling. Its claws scraped the ground, and Anna could feel the tension in every muscle. She used a stick to strike a rock, creating a loud noise. The predator flinched, startled, giving Anna enough time to guide the cubs deeper into the forest. They ran, twisting and turning through narrow paths, always staying close together. Hours passed as they journeyed through the dense forest. Anna kept the cubs fed and hydrated, foraging small fruits and edible plants. Bran and Lyra became bolder, exploring slightly ahead but always returning to Anna. Milo, though still cautious, grew stronger, learning to trust himself in Anna's guidance. By late afternoon, they reached a cliffside overlooking a wide valley. It was beautiful but dangerous. One wrong step, and a fall could be fatal. Anna led the cubs along a narrow path, carefully teaching them to navigate the treacherous terrain. Bran climbed ahead, scouting the path. Lyra followed, nimble and quick. Milo clung close to Anna, shivering slightly but determined. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the valley, Anna found a small cave nestled in the rocks. It would be their shelter for the night, hidden, elevated, and safer from the predator below. The cubs scrambled inside, curling up against her as she arranged soft bedding from leaves and moss. But the forest was not done with them yet. From the distant tree-line, a deep, familiar growl rumbled through the air. Anna's heart raced. The predator had not given up. It had followed them, testing their path, waiting for the right moment to strike. Anna hugged the cubs close. "We're safe for now," she whispered, "but we must be ready. Tomorrow, we keep moving. We keep learning. We keep surviving together." The cubs pressed against her, their trust absolute. Bran and Lyra's ears twitched, alert to every sound. Milo's small body trembled, but he no longer hid behind her. He had begun to learn courage. As night fell, Anna watched the stars peek through the forest canopy. She knew the journey ahead would be long and dangerous, but she also knew they were not alone. They had each other. And somewhere in the shadows, the predator waited, patient and relentless, ready for the next move in this deadly game. Anna closed her eyes briefly, taking a deep breath. The journey was far from over, but together, human and cubs could face whatever dangers the forest threw at them. The dangerous journey had begun, but so had their survival. The forest was quiet, almost too quiet. Anna led the cubs along a narrow path beside a rushing river. The sun was barely rising, painting the alien trees in gold and amber. The cubs had grown stronger and braver during their journey, but Anna knew danger could strike at any moment. Bran, alert and confident, moved ahead, sniffing the path. Lyra darted around him, curious and quick. Milo stayed close to Anna, nervous but determined. Their journey had taught them caution, but it had also made them bold. Suddenly, a sharp cry pierced the air. Anna's heart stopped. She spun toward the sound and saw Milo struggling in the rushing water. A strong current had caught him as he stepped too close to the river's edge. Anna shouted, "Milo!" Without hesitation, she plunged forward, pushing through the water. The river was cold and fast, but she had no choice. She grabbed Milo's tiny body, pulling him close. He trembled, terrified and wet, his small claws gripping her shirt. Bran and Lyra barked and growled, circling the edge, unsure what to do. Anna struggled against the current, her muscles straining. The river seemed endless, but finally she reached the shore. Milo collapsed in her arms, shivering and soaked. Anna held him tightly, murmuring, "You're safe now. You're okay." Her voice was soft, but her heart raced. She realized how fragile they all were. One small mistake, and the predator or the forest could take them from her. Once Milo had recovered slightly, Anna led the cubs away from the river, deeper into the forest. The predator's presence was still in the air, faint but undeniable. They were not alone. Anna's eyes scanned the shadows constantly. Hours later, as they rested in a small clearing, another sound cut through the forest. A low, menacing growl that made every hair on Anna's neck stand up. The predator had found them. It emerged from the shadows, larger and more threatening than before. Anna sprang to her feet, placing herself between the cubs and the predator. Bran growled fiercely, standing close to her side. Lyra crouched, ready to defend herself, while Milo hid behind Anna's legs, trembling. The predator circled them, snarling. It struck suddenly, aiming at Bran. Anna shouted, "No!" and threw a rock, startling it. But in the chaos, Milo bolted in fear, running straight toward the predator. Anna's heart stopped. "Milo, no!" In a flash, the predator lunged, catching Milo's small body. Anna screamed, but it was too late. She charged forward, striking and shouting, but the predator disappeared into the trees, dragging Milo with it. Bran and Lyra barked and growled, confused and scared. Anna dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. The forest was silent again, but Milo was gone. Her heart ached, the weight of failure crushing her. She had promised to protect them, and now one was lost. Hours passed as Anna searched desperately. She called for Milo, moving through the thick forest, her eyes scanning every shadow. Bran and Lyra stayed close, their small bodies trembling, sensing the loss. But there was no sign of him. The predator had taken him, leaving only fear and emptiness behind. As night fell, Anna sat in a small hollow, holding Bran and Lyra close. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. "We have to keep going. We have to survive. For Milo. For us." The cubs pressed against her, their trust absolute, but the sorrow was heavy in the air. Anna knew the forest was merciless. The predator was clever and relentless, and the cubs were still learning. But she also knew that losing Milo, though devastating, had taught them something important. Survival required courage, alertness, and unity. They had to stay strong, even when everything seemed lost. That night, Anna kept watch. The stars above glimmered through the forest canopy, and the alien trees swayed in the soft wind. The predator had not returned, but Anna could feel it, patient and waiting. She whispered to the cubs, "We will find a way. We will survive. Together." Bran nuzzled her hand, Lyra pressed close, and Anna held them tightly. Their journey was far from over, and danger was everywhere. But despite the loss, a bond had formed stronger than fear. Between human and cubs, between protector and those she had chosen to care for. And somewhere, deep in the forest, the predator watched, waiting for the next opportunity. The first loss had been felt, but survival and the fight to protect the remaining cubs had only just begun. The forest was tense. Every rustle of leaves, every shadow among the trees, carried the weight of danger. Anna, Bran, and Lyra had moved to a rocky clearing, elevated and easy to defend. The predator had been relentless, following them, testing their limits, and now it was ready for one final attack. Anna's heart pounded. She could feel the predator's presence, a dark force watching them, waiting for the perfect moment. She crouched low, pulling Bran and Lyra close. "Stay behind me. Quiet. Watch my signals," she whispered. The cubs nodded instinctively, their trust absolute. Then, from the shadows, a low growl rolled through the clearing. The predator emerged, larger than ever, its eyes glowing with hunger and intelligence. Its teeth were bared, claws scraping the ground, and a roar echoed to the forest, shaking leaves from the trees. Anna's mind raced. She had no weapons, only her courage and her wits. She spread her arms, making herself appear larger, while shouting to warn the cubs. Bran growled fiercely, stepping forward with defiant stance. Lyra crouched low, eyes sharp, ready to strike. Milo was missing, but Anna knew the memory of him and the loss had made them all stronger. The predator lunged first at Bran. The cub dodged nimbly, leaping to the side. Anna used the opportunity to roll a rock toward the predator, startling it momentarily. But the predator was clever. It adjusted instantly, circling them like a shadow of death. Anna knew they couldn't just defend. They had to fight strategically. She motioned Bran to climb a low rock while Lyra circled to distract. The cubs followed her silently, trusting every move. The predator attacked again, snapping its jaws where Bran had been seconds ago. Bran hissed and leaped down, landing safely behind Anna. The battle raged. Anna pushed rocks, threw sticks, and shouted commands, while the cubs used what they had learned to evade and confuse the predator. Lyra darted between trees, making noise to draw attention, while Bran charged briefly to scare it back. Milo's absence was a heavy thought, but it fueled Anna's determination. She would protect the remaining cubs at all costs. The predator paused for a moment, sizing them up. Anna saw an opening, a narrow crevice between two rocks that the predator couldn't pass through easily. She motioned quickly to the cubs. Bran and Lyra understood immediately and ran into the narrow space. Anna stayed behind, ready to face the predator head-on. With a final roar, the predator lunged. Anna dodged and kicked rocks into its path, creating barriers. The cubs followed her instructions perfectly, working together to confuse and mislead the predator. It lunged again and again, but Anna's careful planning and the cubs' growing skills gave them the advantage. Finally, after what felt like hours, the predator paused, frustrated and exhausted. Anna could see it. Its movement slowed, its patience thinning. She motioned the cubs to move silently toward the trees, staying low. Together, they retreated, keeping the predator at bay with strategic rocks and noise. The predator let out one final, frustrated roar before disappearing into the forest. Anna collapsed, exhausted but relieved. Bran and Lyra pressed against her, their bodies shaking from adrenaline. She held them tightly, whispering, "We did it. We survived. Together." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the alien forest, Anna and the cubs found a new shelter, a small cave hidden among thick trees and rocks. It was safe, elevated, and away from the predator's likely path. The cubs explored briefly, testing their environment, then settled close to Anna. That night, Anna looked at the cubs, her heart full. They had survived the predator's relentless attacks, grown stronger, and learned to trust her completely. Bran and Lyra were no longer just cubs. They were fighters, survivors, and part of her family. In the distance, faint eyes glimmered in the dark. Anna knew the predator had not entirely gone, but its strength had been broken for now. They had won this battle. They had survived the forest's deadliest threat. She whispered softly, "We are a team. We protect each other, no matter what." Bran nudged her hand. Lyra pressed her head to her shoulder, and for the first time, Anna allowed herself a small smile. The bond they shared was unbreakable, forged in danger, trust, and care. The forest was still dangerous, and challenges awaited them, but the cubs had learned courage, strategy, and loyalty. And Anna had learned the power of connection, of protecting those who could not protect themselves. The final battle was over. The predator had retreated. But their story of survival, courage, and the unbreakable bond between human and cubs was far from finished. Anna closed her eyes, holding Bran and Lyra close. Tomorrow, they would continue their journey. Tomorrow, they would face whatever forest threw at them, together, and somewhere deep in the shadows, the predator waited patient, but no longer invincible. The sun rose over the alien forest, painting the canopy in soft gold and green. Anna sat at the entrance of the small cave, watching Bran and Lyra explore their new surroundings. The cubs had grown in confidence and strength. Their steps were careful but bold, their ears alert and their eyes sharp with curiosity. Milo was still gone, but Anna hoped one day they would find him or be reunited. For now, survival and growth were their focus. Anna smiled softly. "You've come a long way," she whispered. Bran nuzzled her hand, while Lyra jumped onto a low branch, balancing perfectly as she surveyed the area. The bond between human and cubs had become unbreakable, forged in danger, trust, and love. The forest was quiet, peaceful, for the moment. The predator that had threatened them had retreated, at least for now. Anna knew it might return someday, but she had taught the cubs skills that would help them survive. They had learned to move silently, hide effectively, and recognize danger before it arrived. Most importantly, they had learned to trust her and to trust themselves. Over the next few days, Anna and the cubs established routines. They foraged for food, explored the surrounding forest, and practiced their survival skills. Bran and Lyra became more daring, climbing trees, testing their strength and practicing stealth. Milo's absence was a shadow over their play, but also strengthened their bond. They looked out for one another, understanding the fragility of life in the wild. Anna spent her time teaching the cubs not just survival, but connection. She spoke to them gently, telling stories about stars and distant worlds, about courage and kindness. Bran and Lyra listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder. They responded with soft growls and nuzzles, communicating in ways only creatures of trust could. One morning, as Anna collected water from a nearby stream, Bran and Lyra disappeared briefly. Panic surged through her, but she quickly spotted them playing near a small waterfall. They tumbled in the shallow pool, splashing water, their playful yips echoing through the forest. Anna laughed softly, relief washing over her. They were happy, alive, and learning. That was all that mattered for now. By afternoon, Anna led the cubs to a higher clearing overlooking the forest. The view was breathtaking. Valleys, rivers, and trees stretching endlessly, dotted with sunlight and shadows. The cubs sat close to her, taking it all in. She whispered, "This is your world now. Be brave, be smart, and remember what we've learned." A sudden rustle in the trees made them all pause. Bran and Lyra crouched instinctively, ears pricked. Anna tensed, but the sound turned out to be a small herd of alien herbivores, grazing peacefully. Relief spread through her, and she realized how far they had come. They had learned to survive and thrive in a dangerous world. As evening fell, Anna lit a small fire near the cave's entrance. Bran and Lyra curled up beside her. Milo's absence felt less sharp in these moments of calm and warmth. Anna stroked their fur, whispering softly, "We've survived so much, and we'll survive whatever comes next." The forest settled into night. Stars twinkled to the canopy, and a soft breeze rustled the leaves. Anna closed her eyes briefly, listening to the cubs' gentle breathing. A sense of peace, rare and precious, filled the clearing. They were safe for now. They were family. Yet, somewhere deep in the shadows, Anna felt it, a presence, faint but real. The predator had not vanished completely. Its eyes, unseen but imagined, lingered in the darkness, watching, waiting. Anna's hand tightened slightly on Bran and Lyra. She knew danger could return, but she also knew they were ready. Together, they were stronger than fear, stronger than any predator. She whispered one last time, "We're ready for anything." The cubs nuzzled her in response, trusting completely, and she smiled. Life would continue in this alien forest, filled with danger, beauty, and lessons yet to be learned. But for now, they had survived. They had grown, and they had each other. The forest was vast, wild, and unpredictable. But a human and two brave cubs had claimed their place in it, united by courage, care, and the bonds of family. The predator may return, the forest may challenge them, but together, they could face anything. And so, under alien stars and whispering trees, a new chapter began, not just of survival, but hope of trust and of the unbreakable bond between human and cubs. The journey was far from over, but for now, they were home.